Hey y'all, Kathy, North Star Prepsteader. Well, I can walk away from the path here. It's so great. So anyway, there's some grass that's showing now, but I have to show you where things are with the garden here. It has only been 4 days since I last took a shot of the garden for you, and you could tell how far the snow had come down. Well, I gotta show you this. My beds are 15 inches high, and so not only has the snow gone down that much so that the beds are showing, but you can see that some areas are getting close to the bottom of the ground. So encouraging. I can hear the birds like all over the place. We've got a lot more grass showing. It's certainly getting time to plant my seeds. The first step in garden planning for me is trying to figure out what it is I want to make. What do I want to can? What do I want to eat fresh? What do I want to dehydrate? So I wrote down the things that I needed. So I need green beans, I need tomato sauce, I need salsa and tomatoes, diced tomatoes. Then I kind of made a little code here for myself of canned, dehydrated, pickled, and frozen. I didn't come across anything that I wanted to freeze, so really it's just canning, dehydrating, and pickling. These are all things I want to can. And then what I want to eat fresh is lettuce, spinach, green onions, bell peppers, carrots, onion bulbs. I'm not going to do melons, and Swiss chard. I'm also going to can butternut squash and dehydrate zucchini, as well as probably use some of that fresh. I want to do some pickled jalapenos. I've never done that before, so something I want to try this year. I was thinking about making my own chili powder because I do go through a lot of chili powder, but I'm going to start with just growing some paprika. I have oregano. I can get cayenne pepper in bulk from the store, and I don't really go through a lot of that, but I do use more paprika in making a chili powder, in making taco seasoning, in making barbecue sauce, that type of thing. And garlic and onion powder, I have a lot of that. These are just some things that I was thinking about. I don't know if it's going to come to pass, but I'm going to start. Just start by doing a couple of peppers. Butternut squash, of course, I'll cube up the fresh butternut squash and can that. Because I love a lot of butternut squash soup during the winter. That's going to be great to have that on hand. Then I want to dehydrate all of these herbs. I want to do some calendula, oregano, parsley, lemongrass, peppermint, lemon balm, lavender, echinacea, and basil. I've done a few of them in the past, but this is going to be probably my biggest year for doing this, because I just want to be able to grow my own organically and have them on hand for medicinal purposes, as well as fragrances and adding them to other things. So that was my first step, is trying to figure out what do I want to eat, what do I want to make. I'm sure you've heard it before from many others that only grow what you eat. So these are things I want to grow. The next thing I did was to try to figure out my groupings of foods. Here are all my lettuces, all my herbs, my peppers, tomatoes, green beans, onions, carrots, squash, to try to figure out how much I have of everything so that I know where to place them in the garden. Especially among the herbs, I marked if they were going to be annuals or perennials, because that will make a difference in where I put them. I was thinking about doing a couple, and then I scratched them out. The dill, I'm going to use the seed that I harvested last year. Some of these, they say SB, that's for my south bed, that they won't go in my main garden, but I'm going to put them in another bed that I'll show you in a little bit. So in that area, I'm going to have lavender, echinacea, calendula, and lemon balm. I will put some calendula in the main garden too, but not that much. It's mostly because not only are these perennials, but they are they're big plants and they will spread. And I would like to have those in a bed with other perennials that I have going on. Anyway, that's where figuring out whether you have annuals or perennials makes a difference in where you put them in your garden too. Okay, after figuring out all of that, then I draw out my garden space. Pretty much the edge would be my garden. I do have a little more space on the edges here. I just ran out of room on my paper. So my garden is actually a little more square. So I have 3 beds that are 4 feet by 6 feet. I have 3 beds that are 3 feet by 6 feet. Then I've got some little herb beds. This is a 1 by 4. That's a 1 by 4. This is a 2 by 2 that has comfrey in it, and that's already well established there. This one has strawberries in it, so it's well established. I will have to see how much room I have in them because this is the second year that they've been in this bed, and I want to make sure that they have room to grow and that I don't put anything in here that's going to be covered up. It won't be able to grow. This little bed here is about 15 inches by 6 feet, and it's got 5 sections in there. It was something I built last year, and so I have not grown anything in here yet, but that's where I'm going to put some of my my herbs. I'm going to put mint and parsley, chard, oregano. So some of these perennial herbs that are going to go in this section can stay there. So, and each section I actually have the bottom lined, the bottom and some of the sides about halfway up lined with plastic, and a couple holes poked in there for drainage, and then filled it up with dirt. So anything that goes in there, especially the mint, it can be fairly well contained. You know, maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, I will notice that it's starting to creep out somewhere, and I'll just have to cut it back or transplant it at that point in time. This bed is also resting on some pavers, some concrete pavers, so they won't go down into the dirt. Then this year I have been inspired by watching so many people to try to do some additional container gardening. So around the fence line I'm going to do pots there, and then be able to just anchor things to the fence. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 around the fence, and then one that I'll put right in here. Because lemongrass is a perennial, but it's not hardy for my zone, I want to make sure that I can bring that inside. So what I did is drew out my garden, and then I started writing in where I wanted things. And you do that in pencil so that you can see that I've erased a lot and kind of moved things around according to where I grew things last year. Because I have a fairly small garden, really, when it comes down to it, I remember where I had things last year. Like here I had onions last year, here I had tomatoes, and here I had green beans. So I like to rotate some things around. I had carrots over here, so now I'm putting the carrots here. I had tomatoes here, now I'm going to put some tomatoes here, as well as along the fence in some things. So I have a pepper here, a squash here, the butternut squash in the corner, so that I can have a greater support on the corner of the fence, and then be able to, they said make some, for doing vertical squash, to make some slings to hold the fruit that it comes down, or the squash that comes down. Another tomato, zucchini, a pepper, jalapeno pepper. This is just an extra little container I have. I may or may not use that for some more green onions. I'm going to put some bell peppers here, tomatoes, and tomatoes. So like I said, I'm going to anchor those to the fence line and be able to not only anchor the pots, but also anchor the plants as they grow up. And then if I need more height than what the fence can give, at that point I can put in some more stakes if I need some like T-posts or something like that, and I can give some more height to that. So this is going to be green beans this year. This is going to be carrots, which will probably be half carrots, maybe a little bit over half, and then some bell peppers. And I'm going to mix all that in with some dill and some marigolds for bug control. And right now this is all going to be onions, because I do plant about 100 sets, and it seems to like taking up the whole bed. So then, like I said, I have strawberries over here. I'm going to have some tomatoes and some dill and calendula to also help control pests here. And this bed here gets a little bit more shade from a tree that's nearby, and so lettuces do fairly well here. So I'm going to put my lettuces in here. So that's the general layout. Things might change, depends on what I have going in there. So this is the east, the north, the west, and the south. There is a small building over here that shades this area in the morning. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't plant anything there that needed like 14 hours or 15 hours of sunlight, especially towards the end of the summer. That'll be in shade. This area is like complete full sun from about 6 a.m. to about 7 p.m. Now today it's a little cooler. It's only 39 degrees, but yesterday it was 52 and sunny, 52 Fahrenheit. And so very, very encouraging, very encouraging. Just want to show you how much grass is already showing here. Now when I talk about my south bed, that's this side of the house. And it's a bed that's about 2.5 feet by 26 feet. I've got a lot of tulips in here. There's a lot of perennials. And this is where I'm going to be planting some more perennials, some more herbs, which I'll show you later on. But I got to show you something here. You guys aren't going to believe this. Look at that. There's tulips growing up. I have tulips that are coming up. Look at that. Also have some columbine coming up here too. Now 2 weeks ago in this bed, my snowbank was 4 feet high. And now it is all gone and the flowers are coming up. It happens so fast and it's so fun to watch all this go. So I will keep showing you the progress of the tulips and see how they go. Well, you've seen my garden plan and you know what I'm going to be doing. It would be fun to take you on this journey, see how things grow and how things go. So you guys, you just take care, have a great week. Tell me how your garden plans are going in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Please share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can get notifications for more videos. So this is just the start of my garden plans for this year, and it's going to start with growing inside this year. So take care, God bless, and have hope. Bye-bye.